Common Sense, the first of Thomas Paine's writings to help the cause of colonial independence. In August 1775, King George III had declared the colonies to be in a state of rebellion against England, and encouraged all citizens of the British Empire to support the king. Against this backdrop, the mood in the colonies about independence from England changed radically. On January 10, 1776, Thomas Paine published his pamphlet Common Sense, in which he outlined the reasons as to why it was necessary for the colonies to break away from England and become an independent nation. Writing in plain language so that his thoughts could be more easily understood by the majority of colonists, Paine's pamphlet sold upwards of 100,000 copies, although there is an enormous discrepancy in those numbers, ranging from a far more believable 75,000 to as many as 500,000. However many copies were actually published, its arguments informed colonists who were not involved in the political circles of the colonies of the advantages of independence. Paine argued, among other things, that it was wrong for an island nation to try and rule an entire continent, and that England was only concerned about their interests and not the interests of the colonies. Paine believed that a continued connection to England would only drag the colonies down, as they would be dragged into any number of European wars, and that the colonies would not be allowed to trade with the world, which is something that they were really good at. Ultimately, many colonists, including some representatives to the Second Continental Congress, were convinced by Paine that independence was the way for the colonies to go, and set about making that happen. But to suggest that it was only Paine's pamphlet that moved the colonists in this direction, or that it moved all of the colonists, would be to overstate its importance. It was printed at the same time as King George III's proclamation about the colonies being in rebellion. There was also the publication of James Chalmers' pamphlet Plain Truth, which attempted to break down each of Paine's arguments for breaking away from England. His problem was that he wrote it in the exact opposite manner of Paine, using language and references that were unknown to many of the colonists. Therefore, his message, while aiding the cause of those loyalists in the colonies, was lost to many of the rest.